Okay, so I'm sitting here with a very old high school friend. I'd say we go way back. Jeffrey Weiss. We're at Amols, your fabulous store on Fredericksburg Road. Tell us about you, your store, your history.
For sure. Yeah.
Very happy place, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My wife and I run the business. It was started by my grandfather in 1949, so we're somewhere around year 77 or something. So it's been a long time. He started off somewhere around where on the St. Mary Strip.
Oh, okay.
Way back when, then moved for a little while somewhere by the Pearl.
Okay.
And then somewhere over by Chavez and Santa Rosa, close to I-10. He was there for a little bit too. But the fourth location was on Flores Street by the HEB headquarters on Arsenal and Flores.
Oh, wow.
And he moved there in 62 and was there until we moved in 2018. New Year's, right after New Year's, we opened up here at 5 Points at Fredericksburg and Calabria. So we've been around San Antonio for a little while, and like I said, my wife and I now operate it, and it's a lot of fun because basically when people walk in the door, they're getting ready to have a party or celebrate something.
Happy times, yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and we really enjoy it. And I grew up in this, so I've basically been doing it all my life, pretty much.
What did this was right after World War II, right?
That is correct.
And so what was your grandfather a young man when he started it? Was he?
I think he was in his mid 30s when he first started it, and he was sort of he grew up in the Depression, and he came down here from Baltimore. Actually, his wife, my grandmother's family came here in the 1880s or whatever, and they had a different type of family business. It was imported foods, grocery store, and basically he tried to, he was working with his in-laws after they got married, and didn't work out so well. It's one of those stories. Couldn't get along. And so he was, did a couple different things, but, he just he knew he wanted to go into a business that had something to do that was loosely sort of related to entertainment in some form, because, he lived through, and I think his family was affected pretty severely by the Depression. And I think what he told me was that he just knew that as bad as things were, people didn't have any money. It was really, really tough. But somehow or another, people would find a way to throw a birthday party or go to the, whatever, church carnival or, go to the movies. Right. So there's always, people are always needed some form of entertainment, needed some amusement. And so he kind of knew that he wanted to go into something like that, which is kind of funny. And so, not funny, but it's kind of interesting because I can tell he's thinking, hey, the next Depression's right around the corner. And I know that was part of his thought process. And so he started off doing, I think when they opened up with novelties, when he opened the business in the 40s, he did a lot of, I guess, magic tricks were a lot bigger back then.
Oh my gosh.
Little gags like the hand buzzer that's kind of still around and
pulling all the stuff out of the hat.
Exactly. And so he did that and party supplies, and it kind of sort of evolved over the years, and then it turned out to what it is today, basically. More of a sort of a seasonal holiday decor party supply store. So and it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit over the last 35 plus years.
And so you do lots of sales in store, but you also do internet sales. When did you start on that?
I think it's kind of, I wish there was a way I could go back and look at our first website, which was something like 1994. I can't imagine how it was, but it was one of those things where I don't even know what platform we used, but it was kind of out of a box thing where you do whatever you do and you set up 20 items I'm not even sure how we got this thing off the ground, given the technology that was available back then. But I think 94 was when we launched it, and it kind of, surprisingly, I mean, it wasn't, it didn't blow up, but it did a little bit. It kind of slowly built momentum and got some traction, and then kind of grew from there. And then we kind of, as technology kept improving, we kind of stepped it up a little bit. And then I guess around 2006, we kind of hired some big guns, custom coding developers, and built a custom website. And we were very fortunate that we had a great team. And so a lot, probably 2/3 to 3/4 of our business is, e-commerce. And then the remainder, is, in the store local in the store. Yeah. So the e-commerce has obviously been very important to the company.
All over the world, or just?
Well, yeah, I mean, we ship all over. We do, but I mean, it's concentrated heavily, obviously, in the USA. But we do ship, Mexico, Canada, and then a little bit of stuff to Europe. But I mean, it's primarily domestic. But yeah, we'll ship anywhere that we can get it. As long as we can get it there, we'll ship it. Yeah.
When you took over, was your grandfather still involved in the business, or was it a clean, like you suddenly were in charge, or did y'all have the benefit of working together for a period of time?
So going back a little bit further, one day, I don't know, I was in 5th or 6th grade. It was summertime. I was maybe 6th grade, but somewhere in that range. And he's like, hey, he lived close by my parents, and he's like, hey, you want to come down and, work with Grandpa? And I was like, it's probably towards the end of the summer, that part of the summer where you start getting a little bored. And I was like, yeah, sure. And, he, went down, and we always had to stop and get good Tex-Mex breakfast before work. So I can't remember where we went, but every morning we had to do that first. And I loved it, because think about it, as a kid, you go to your family's, your grandfather's business. It's not like an office that has just got file cabinets or, something that's not interesting. Yeah. And there was a lot more toys and like stuffed animals and carnival supplies. He did a lot of carnival business. More than, it's kind of slipped, over the years. But back in the 60s and 70s, he did a lot of carnival supplies. So the big stuffed animals. And so it was even more fun as a kid. So it was not a hard sell to get me to come down to work with him. But after a while, though, he was a pretty tough guy. He was real tough, hard-nosed, all business. And within about I kept going back, every day for a week or two. And then he's like, okay, we're going to, I'm kind of messing around, whatever. I'm just, And he's like, toys. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to start teaching you how to work. And he did. And he was really, really tough on me in many ways. But it was very valuable, because it really taught me a lot of, discipline, about, self-discipline and, all these things, values of work, and it was invaluable, and so I did it again the next summer. So I had that experience with him, and I was very close to him. But towards the end, I was in college, and he basically was getting up there, and he really couldn't handle it too much anymore. So basically, by the time I came into it, he retired. So there was not really a period where we were both operating it.
Now, so this was your out of college job?
I was 23 when I took it over. Yeah, and it's funny, and because I think to him this was so important that his legacy continued. And so, I mean, a lot of times you're not going to hand over the keys to a 22-year-old or a 23-year-old, but I mean, he was left with he had no options. It was either sell it, close it down, or
give it to Jeffrey.
Yeah. So I think it was, this was like his, a child almost to him. I mean, it was really important, and he always called it his baby, and he wanted to see it stay in the family and keep going. And so that's kind of where the opportunity came in for me. But I knew early on that I thought, you don't know when you're 12 or 15 or 18 or 22. You don't know for sure. But I always had a pretty good feeling that I wanted to go into it. And it just, it worked out. And I was very fortunate to, I guess, sort of be in the right place at the right time. But I want to say, I'm trying to remember how old he was, but he was getting close to 80 at that time. And it was at the end. And he was, and he was around for, I probably was operating this for over a decade before he passed. So there was a lot of years where he was always kind of there giving me advice, and he'd come down here, hang out for a little while, but he pretty much, let me do my thing and enjoyed his life without all the stress and everything.
So you didn't have an alternate aspiration in college?
I sort of thought, I sort of prepared that because it was never certain if it was going to work out, given his age and given just a couple other things going on. And it was a question of, so I knew that I think I probably would have, the plan I think was I was going to probably go to law school if it didn't work out. So I kind of had a 2-track kind of thing with taking business courses and then also kind of doing, because I just didn't think, I wasn't sure I wanted to go into, go to business school. I wasn't sure about it. And so, I think that's what I was doing, was that if it doesn't work out, I'll figure something out. But interestingly, it probably wouldn't have been in business. It probably would have been something else. I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
I know, which is kind of weird. Yeah. But I did all I could to prepare for this. It's only so much you can learn, because it's not just, you have to try to be able to manage people. And then, there's financial stuff, and then there's marketing, and it's impossible.
And product.
And purchasing, and it's really hard. Yeah. And you can't learn all that from a book, and you can't be good at it. You can't be good at all of it. It's impossible, because it's just, there's such different, such a broad spectrum of sort of skills or, talents, to be able to do all these different things. But I think what I did, I think it was very helpful, the path that I went on. And, it was good just to have a good solid foundation. He laid a great foundation at the end of the day. And that's kind of, I think, the most important thing. He taught me, growing up before college and before all that, he kind of taught me, the kind of things you need to, you know what I mean? You watch out for and be, smart about. And
what was the hardest thing he made you do when you were like?
Well, I see the thing, because he
really like cleaning toilets.
It was. I would have preferred the toilet. So we had this air conditioned warehouse back then. It was totally unair conditioned with no insulation, no fans, and a tin roof. In this summer,
an oven.
It was an oven, and I guess we had little fans, but there was no like big ceiling fans. It wasn't like there was no fans, but I meant there was no large ceiling fans. So he for no reason whatsoever, it was, and we had a couple different warehouses. It was kind of strangely cobbled together property over on Florida Street, but he was like, okay, I need you to take all the stock, all the inventory off the shelf. I want you to physically take it off the shelf. And I need you to make sure that you put it all back in order. And I'm like 13 or 12 or something. I don't know. I'm really young. And, obviously he didn't need me to do that, but he wanted me to see, he wanted to show me what it was like.
Follow instructions.
And work hard, physical, hard. Basically felt at the time like hard labor. That I guarantee you, for those couple 2-3 days, it probably took me 3 days, maybe longer. I was, like I said, 12 or probably 13 maybe. And I had to take everything off and climb up on the ladder and lift everything down. And I did it basically by myself. And I kind of figured out, because I was young still, but I figured out pretty quickly that he was kind of either trying to teach me what it means to work, or testing to see, was I going to quit and go home and skateboard and ride my bike and shoot baskets, or was I serious about, learning how to work? And so I'll never forget that. That was brutal. I don't know, how I didn't end up with like heat stroke or whatever. But somehow I stayed hydrated, and it was a pretty daunting task for someone my age.
Yeah.
You really hadn't really worked at all before anything like that. So that was just a great lesson, and he just imparted wisdom. He would always have something to say, and so he was obviously a very influential part of my life, and I'm just glad it worked out, and we just have a lot of fun with it because we're just it's always whether it's St. Patrick's Day, let's be honest, not so huge in San Antonio, right. But whether it's Christmas or 4th of July or obviously Fiesta
right here,
New Year's Eve, Day of the Dead, it's always like,
right.
And it's fun because like the business revolves around the seasons, although we don't get really seasons either too much here in San Antonio, but it's kind of fun. Like in the fall, it's like, oh, let's get down all the summer stuff. Let's start getting all the fall leaves and all that. Yeah. And all that. So that part's fun. That part's a lot of fun because, I like kind of the seasons and I like, just like I said, the fact that most of our customers come in and they're excited about celebrating whatever they're doing. So, and it's been a lot of fun. And also the challenge of the internet, the e-commerce and the website, that was really satisfying and really challenging because it's just like now every day, as we see with AI and everything else, every 2-3 months, you have to relearn, retrain, and being able to be a part of that was really, really satisfying. And also, it's great. My wife's really great. Somehow she's wonderful, and it's not easy to work together. I think people who maybe work with their spouses or family realize it's pretty difficult. And it works out because a lot of the things that she does are things that she's really strong at, and I'm not, or and vice versa. But we're able to sort of kind of do different things. So we're not working right next to each other all day long, which I'd be happy to do. I think she'd be the one having a problem with that, having to be in the same room with me. But it's been fun doing it with the family. With my wife, since the kids have gotten older. But it's been fun, and it's great to be part of the community and carrying on my grandfather's legacy. It's great. I noticed. Sorry, I'm running on a little bit here, but to me, I noticed when I was a kid, there was a lot of. Well, you know this. There was a lot of family businesses when we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, and you saw men's clothing stores, women's clothing stores, whatever it happened to be. And as time's gone on, there's almost no family. Yeah. There's hardly any left. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to verbalize this, put this in words because it's so intangible. But I kind of get what my grandfather what I know he wanted to do.
Right.
And seeing a lot of these business and I think a lot of the businesses, they go out for a lot of reasons, but I know probably the number one reason isn't the internet or Walmart or Amazon. I would suspect the number one reason is because the kids, the next generation doesn't want to go into it. And so, that's something I think about, but I like carrying on what my grandfather did. Nothing would make me happier than having my kids or some of my kids or one or any of them. I've got 4, but right now it looks like for the time being that they've chosen separate paths. So, I don't know what am I going to do? Try to stay healthy and hope I've got grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm about to say grandkid.
I don't know, but to me, one of the great things is kind of being part of a community that, a business that's been around this long. And, the fact that people, people come in and they go, I remember your grandfather, and these people are now elderly. Right. And I remember when I was a kid, we would, go to the Florist Street and get the stuff for the school carnival. And it's very meaningful. It's very rewarding. So, yeah, I'd say I've been pretty blessed, and it's a lot of fun.
Is it hard for y'all to take time off from your baby?
Yeah. It is very difficult. It's tough. It's hard to get away. We managed to do it somehow, and that's only because we're really lucky. We've got 2 employees, 2 managers here, Becky and Margie, and they've been with us. Both of them have been with us over 30 years.
Oh, wow!
Which is incredibly.
That's incredible.
It's unheard of. We've got multiple employees who've been here 6-7 years. And so we've gotten, I mean, again, just sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, but we've got a really good, strong staff. So yeah, we can get away a little bit, but I'm telling you, you're right. It's very difficult most times, and you guys know that. I mean,
same.
Yeah, I mean, you go out of town, and then some big deal is blowing up. So it's 24/7.
It's 24/7.
And of course, whenever you wake up at night, the first thing you think about, if when I say wake up at night, I meant that intentionally. I mean, you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't sleep.
Yes.
Start thinking,
and then within 2 seconds, I start worrying about what I've got to do the next day, or what's going on at the business, and there you go. Can't go back to sleep. That's the end of that. So it is, but it's so rewarding and it's fun and I love it. And I think anyone who ever's had an idea of doing something for themselves, I know a lot of times it's tough and it's a big risk and people tend to be risk averse, but it's very rewarding, and it's and it's not just you do for yourself and for your family, but also there's a lot of it's good to be able to knowing that you employ people and create jobs is also a really kind of I think it's a very strengthening the
community.
I believe so. I think it's very, very rewarding, and I found it to be great. I mean, I've got no regrets and no complaints. It's been wonderful to my wife and I, and to my grandfather and the whole family. It's fun. I mean, Fiesta obviously.
Yeah.
We have to talk about Fiesta. That's just so much. I mean, it's the best. It's the best feeling in the world, just having all these people, and they tell you how much, people come up when they're shopping, they come up to me and they're like, hey, they say words to the effect of, coming to Amols coming to Amols is a Fiesta event, like going to Nyosa or going to one of the parades. Right. They're like, this is part of Fiesta. That's the best. I mean, it's the greatest. Cool. It feels great. And we have so much fun every year, like coming up with new ideas and new, all that stuff just to make it more, interesting and doing different things for, because it's people come in for a lot of different reasons. People are decorating offices, they're doing their front yard, or some of the Fiesta events are coming in to decorate or buy things for their event. So you're kind of doing, it's not really B2B, but you know what I'm saying. It's a wide range of customers, types of customers. So it's just great. It's a lot of fun. So.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What is the secret to the hula hoops with the streamers hanging down when people put them in the yard on the trees and suspended? Do you all do those?
Well, so
you sell the.
I have. Okay, so we don't have them up yet, but we do have those giant ones. Mm-hmm. We don't do the installations. It's probably a pretty good business to be in, I would think. I would say that as far as I know, I think some of the companies that do the
massive
the Christmas tree lights, are doing that, and it just wish I had a little more bandwidth, as they say.
Yeah. Right.
Because I think you see those all over the place. But we do. I think it'll probably be because we're doing this. It's the last couple of days of February.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Within a week or two, we'll start having those giant ones ready to go. But those just kind of took off in the last.
Yeah.
Not very long ago. Last couple of years. It's fun to see how things kind of evolve too. Someone gets an idea and it takes off, and everybody does it, and until the next thing comes along.
Do you import? Do you make stuff here? So how does that all work?
So, and I think that's one of the keys that has helped us kind of be successful, was I kind of figured out probably in the late 90s that we needed to find sources in Mexico ourselves. And we spent a lot of time, I would say between whatever it is, late 90s through the early 2000s, spent a lot of time traveling throughout Mexico because we wanted to try to make contact with the producers directly. And for two reasons. One, so that we could have a reliable sort of supply of stuff. But also secondly, I thought it was real important for it to be authentic. So most of our stuff is made in Mexico or South America, Central America. We have stuff that's mass produced in factories in Asia too. I mean, but everything that we can get,
You're doing.
we do there. And so yes, the almost everything you see is made in Mexico. Some of these people work exclusively for us year round.
Oh, wow.
I mean, 365 days a year. Well, you know what I mean. They're not working 360.
Yeah.
You know, they give
A lot.
they're full time. And so we found people to make flowers for us, people to make piñatas, all types of things we import. We have people who do. Now they don't all work just for us, but some of them do. But we've got some guys. They're incredible. But the papel picado.
Oh yeah.
Those guys, and this is something. It's incredible. You know, it's all chiseled. Mm-hmm. They chisel every one of these by hand.
Wow.
All the banners, and it's really something to see because I don't know how you do it. I've seen videos. They've sent me videos of them
Actually
making this, and I can't. These people are high-level, skilled crafts people. All of them. The people that make the piñatas, the flowers, everything. But it's all those little intricate designs that you see. Well, you know the camera can't see it, but we've got some papel picado hanging, and all that's cut out by hand. And all of it, all
Wow.
all of them, and I don't know how many tens of thousands we
I'm
sell
sure
here.
it's parallel to you with its family, like generations, right?
It is. A lot of them. That is correct. That is a good point. That's a good question, and the answer is yes. The people that make the picado, I can't remember exactly what he told me, but I want to say that family's been making that picado for 100 years or so, or close to 100 years, and it's like the fourth or fifth generation already, and all the kids do it, but they bring in other people. And same thing with a lot of our flowers. We have somebody down in it's kind of south of Acuna, and they make these incredible flowers, and the grandmother started doing it, and then you've got like the grandkids or maybe the great grandkids, and they just make great stuff. And also the other reason that's really good for us to have these sources, these resources, is that if they have ideas, or if we have either way, but if we come up with an idea or someone says, hey, have you ever thought about doing this, and we can hey, what do you think about this? And we can make it happen. Whereas if we're dealing with some factory, they're not going to
They don't care.
Nothing's going to happen. So I think a lot of that contributes to some of our success with Fiesta and the sort of Mexican imports. Also textiles as well, blankets, serapes, all that.
I saw dresses.
The dresses. Yeah, and there again we found somebody we went down and found someone. I should know. It's close to Puebla, but we found a factory down there, and they're doing that. So we try to bring in as much as we can directly. We do have some people that kind of wholesale, kind of middlemen, as you were, but by and large, wherever we can, we like to. We try real hard to do that, for sure. And I think it's very important. It makes a big difference. Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot if you can't recall something, but you said that sometimes you're innovative with new ideas. Do you have an example of that?
Well,
like doing something, like if someone brought
maybe the giant avocado.
I was gonna say, this isn't like super brilliant, like genius or anything, but we had we started having people. Before, it's kind of weird because we thought, well, maybe people want some really big flowers, like because most of our flowers are whatever 4 inches to 10, 12 inches, I don't know. And so many years ago, we had a few big flowers made, and they didn't really sell that much. And then the last couple of years, we had a couple people go, hey, why don't you guys do bigger flowers? It's not, like I said, we're not splitting the atom here, but it's like, so we kind of talked to them and we're like, hey, we need to try this again. So they kind of came up with a few designs of some that are like 2-3 feet.
Oh, wow.
And so we're like, we brought some in, but it's just winter right now. It's like January.
Right.
I mean, we don't really start going until, spring break, after spring break. And like, they're all just people that were sold out already. I mean, we didn't get the big shipment in yet, but people are asking for more big flowers. So now we're talking to them, and then so what I'm trying to say is that we have the flexibility to, like, we don't have to wait a year. You know what I mean? Or 2 years.
Yeah.
So we can be more nimble and more reactive to demand. And so we're going to have this whole line of
Giant
larger flowers,
I can't
2-3
wait to
foot
come see.
diameter. And so that's kind of interesting. And we do have, by the way, people here that work in San Antonio. We have a couple people that make, in fact, I think all of our wreaths are made here. Locally. We have a lady who, she's fantastic. She 12 months a year, she's cranking out wreaths. I don't know how she does it. I don't have the patience, and I watch her do it, and I'm like, I don't know how you do this. This is insane. You have to be, I mean, it's very,
little fine.
Yeah, cutting all the ribbons and all. Yeah. I can't sit still long enough.
They're good looking, all the
thank
wreaths,
you. Yeah, she does all that. And then we have some other people here in town that do it. So we try to make everything, I wouldn't say local, but we try to keep everything as authentic to, Mexico. We had some stuff in Peru, Central America, and locally. So I think I think it's very important. I think given that we're trying to, we do authentic, traditional, San Antonio Fiesta, Mexican, Cinco de Mayo, whatever parties, and we want to be authentic. So I think I think we do a pretty good job of that. I think that we really emphasize that.
Is Fiesta's your biggest event of the year, or what?
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because you would never put these two holidays together. But Fiesta. Our other big holiday is New Year's Eve.
Oh, really?
So that would be because it's more business to business, but we do the hats and the horns and the noisemakers, the blowouts. So we basically are selling to like hotels, restaurants, country clubs, nightclubs that are having 50 to a couple thousand guests. And so that's like totally unrelated to what we're talking about with the Fiesta stuff. But so that would be probably now. It was number one for a while, but now I mean it was Fiesta and that has surpassed it. But the thing with us is that Fiesta just happens to be in April, and it happens to be the same merchandise that people use to decorate for Cinco de Mayo parties. So it's what's really fun and exciting and incredibly stressful is that we actually have kind of, in a way, two holidays going on at once. It's like having Halloween and Christmas
on top.
At the exact same time. You know what I mean? Like you're selling Christmas trees and ornaments and costumes and candy all the same kind of 3 to 5 week period, because all of our e-commerce business is primarily for Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
So while we're hopefully knock on, this is not wood, but knock on wood, hopefully while we're going crazy in the store for the local Fiesta business,
you're going crazy.
Everywhere else in the country, they've never heard of Fiesta in Springfield, Illinois, or Pocatello, but they're having Cinco de Mayo parties. So we're so it's a peak season for the warehouse in the shipping department as well as in the store, and it's at the same time, and it just so happens they're buying the same stuff. We've got maybe 15 things that say Cinco de Mayo out of I think we have 13 to 1,500 different Fiesta items, somewhere over 1,000. And we have 10 that say Cinco de Mayo, but they buy all of the Fiesta stuff pretty much. Anything that says Fiesta, they'll buy for Cinco de Mayo. And so
it works.
Right? Yeah, yes, exactly. So that's going on. So we've got they're going crazy next door. Our warehouse, we've got two buildings here. We've got our showroom and offices, and then we have our warehouse with our shipping where we ship out of right next to it. And so so it's pretty hectic. And it's pretty,
So you're tired after Fiesta and Cinco de Mayo. Take a break.
Yeah, it's weird. Is that like when you're in the middle of it, you're just like you get so exhausted, and I love all the action and everything, and it's like I'm getting older now. It's not like I'm 20 years young, ago, and it's like I'm so tired, but it's kind of this weird feeling where when it's over, it's like man, I'm so glad it's over and I can take a breath, but at the same time I'm like kind of depressed, and it's like gets real quiet, and you miss all the
psychological
there's something there's
the letdown of the party's over.
Exactly. So there's this weird kind of thing going on, but so it and then the summer's there's no big holidays except the 4th of July in the summer, and it's hot and people are on vacation,
so it's quiet.
The summer is pretty chill. And then we get rolling for Dia de los Muertos is really, Day of the Dead is really, I'll say in the last 4 to 5, 6 years is really taken off and grown a lot. And we're kind of we're trying to do with that, as far as like expanding and coming up with new products and lots of real sugar skull heavy, tons of sugar skulls, tons of marigolds. But that's taken off, and it's surprising. But how much it's also taken off online as well. I mean, people are celebrating all over the country. Yeah. Right. And and that's that, it's kind of, I don't know about you guys. I just don't remember 15 years ago anyone really, I was aware of Day of the Dead when we had some, but it's like, I honestly think that's just exploded.
I only know from the kids at Spanish immersion at the school.
Right.
But otherwise.
But do you ever remember anyone talking when you were
we talked about it, you read about it as a holiday. Yeah. But now we celebrate it at our own house.
That's right. And this just has kind of come out of exploded. It is. But it's really wild, to me how you kind of see like new traditions and new things kind of happening, because there always was Christmas, there always was Halloween, there always whatever. And it's really pretty incredible how much it's exploded. People are, I think there's people in Nebraska that know, they're Day of the Dead, and and wherever it's just spread all over, and people are at least aware of it. And I think it's going to have the little problem it's going to run up against is it's the day after the days Halloween.
Yeah,
they need to which it's kind of interesting because it's kind of hard to pull them off. Right. You can do both, of course, but. It'd be nice. Maybe we should move Day of the Dead to like August where there's nothing going on, and then it can really
stand on it.
Really, be huge, bigger than Halloween. Yeah. But so.
Thank you so much for meeting with us. Yeah. We want to walk around, show everybody all of the amazing items that you have here.
I have, of course, all the Spurs.
Art.
Oh yeah. So. I was talking. There's this incredible. Y'all saw them. They're great. Yeah. They're
fantastic.
I'm not just saying that because they're on. I really think the quality. Just amazing. So is Michael Sanchez is his name, and he's got stuff all over town. Just incredible. And he kind of approached me. I have to give him all the credit, really. He approached me about doing some murals here because we're at Calabria and Fredericksburg, and we've got the people that are listening or watching the podcast can't see the layout of the buildings, but you've got like some prime mural real estate the way everything's configured. And we were talking about some stuff, and really, I don't remember who brought up the Spurs idea first, but. I kind of wanted to do because I remember when Spurs moved here when I was 5 years old, and I wanted to do some old school like George Gervin stuff. I think, and we kind of been talking about a bunch of different things, and then one day it came up, and it was after Greg Popovich had a stroke, and he was like, "Hey, I think we should do something to honor him. He's been, the Spurs mean so much to the community." And, all this, and we are real tight-knit, and the entire city rallies around the Spurs, and it's meaningful. I think I kind of get this. I went to Green Bay once and saw the Packers play my beloved Dallas Cowboys, and you kind of, Green Bay's only got like 100,000 people, but they've got an 80,000-seat stadium. It's an hour's north-ish of Milwaukee. but you know, the whole town is Green Bay Packers. It's like high school football in a West Texas town. I think the Spurs in San Antonio have that same sort of vibe that I don't know that you get in Atlanta or Dallas or LA. So anyway, all the ideas and inspiration, I have to give the credit to Mike Sanchez. Did a great job. He's got his crew, and I think those are some of the best murals. Definitely some of the best Spurs murals, if not the best in the entire city. The Wemby one is just
amazing.
And I got to tell you, it is so amazing. It's got so much detail. And I got to tell you, though, the castle, even though it's a little more simple, not as, you know, I love that castle one. And you know what he did? I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's the Spurs lady.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And you know, she was like the Spurs #1 fan. And I can't remember exactly, but she passed in the last year. I may be wrong, but it's somewhere fairly recently. And he was like, "We've got to put one up of her." And so he just came out. That's brand new. It's on the other side of the building, and it's right. It's on the front parking lot, not on Calabria. It's on the point. And so he's got a couple other ideas, and so we might be seeing some more stuff come up. Additions. But it's been great, and we love it because for me personally, grew up with the Spurs, and it's just part of San Antonio, and we want to, So thanks for mentioning that. We really had fun, and I think we'll see what I still want like a George Gervin one, and we got to get Timmy up there somehow. Oh yeah. There's no way we can do this and not have Tim Duncan. So we'll see what we come up with.
Well, it goes well with your, the whole your emphasis with the community and having fun and legacy. All part of the Amols vibe, right? Yeah,
I think so. Thanks for saying that. I think it all. Yeah, I absolutely. That's like I said. That's I've talked about this, but that whole sort of legacy is real important, and being part of the community, and when just hearing the feedback. It's just a store. We're not saving the planet. We're not saving lives here. We're not, hopefully we put a smile on people's faces when they come in, but for something, a little store like this to have so much, positive feedback and, dozens and dozens of people that, come up and say things, all the, throughout the year, I don't know, who knows how many, just countless people, will tell us stories about, they remember, like I said, coming in when they were a kid to the old place, or, how much they look forward to every Fiesta. The first thing they know Fiesta's here because it's time to go to Amol's. It's just awesome, and it's a great feeling, and we're just really happy and blessed and appreciative of the community.
Love that.
Thanks for sharing it with us. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Amazing businessman, person, and has.
Now it's time to go shopping.
Now it's time to look around.
Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeffrey.